Do you want to do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you want to do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it.
Get off the road.
Hey Dave,
Yes, Boater.
what does a Gen Z cowboy say when throwing somebody out of the saloon?
1992 to 1990. So they yeet.
Yeethaw! Very close, very close.
Yes.
That sucked again.
Yeethaw!
It doesn't work with the gloves. Anyway, hi everyone, welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. These are two brain cells banging together, and one of those brain cells is Boater.
And I'm the other brain cell-ish Dave Man. Sweet Lord, says Auntie.
Hello, Auntie. Hello, more like rigor mortis. Hello, Love Alec with the lurk. Hello, Dude Icarus in the chair. Hope everyone's doing really well so far this week. It's been a good one. We originally had promised some pickleball, but we're pushing that back until a slightly less spooky time. More like two wires accidentally touching. Yeah.
That's fair.
Idea. Idea. No, to be really careful with those. You don't want to. Why? What's the worst that could? Oh God, they're doing another podcast. Sponsored by Burger King. Not sponsored, but I mentioned before that we were going to do pickleball. That unfortunately that didn't happen. We have a replacement. We didn't talk at all about how we wanted to handle the replacement or when we wanted to dive into it, but I don't know. Shall we get started, or shall we?
I mean, the title of the stream is GhOoOoOsT NuggEeEeets.
GhOoOoOST NuggEeEeets. So yeah, sure. Let's crack them open now. So Burger King just released new ghost pepper nuggets. This is not a sponsored stream. We are merely culinary masochists.
It could be sponsored,
It could
Burger
be.
King. Get on our level.
They'll actually be hot like they're supposed to be, as opposed to picked up at the drive-thru 2.5 hours ago and thus room temperature, or sad morning after ghost nuggets.
Or Weekend Wednesday style. As
Weekend Wednesday style. I'll pick that up for you at 6. You'll eat them at 10:30.
Sponsored, not sponsored. Hashtag sponsored.
So let's go ahead and actually open these up. This is an 8-piece, so this could last us the hour. This is an 8-piece
I'm incredibly
ghost
hungry.
nuggets, and because they forced me to grab dipping sauces, there is ranch, but I will not do so at least the first time out. Let's each start with having a nugget, and then see how we do with going into the show.
Firstly, Sauce Boss, are these okay? Is this not illegal substances brought into your presence? It's fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Boater, you gotta clear this stuff with the Sauce Boss. You can't just whip out,
I
substances.
live on the edge, and also in complete ignorance of the sauce boss.
You gotta come around the studio on Wednesday nights. Is really.
Oh boy. Okay, so I guess if I can actually open it, then we'll see.
My roommate is eating McDonald's right now. Your fraternal twins is more like rigor mortis.
Perfect. All right. Let us each grab a nugget. They smell like fast food spicy chicken. Dip or straight in for the first one?
I'm gonna try it straight on just to
Okay.
see what this ghost pepper hoopla is all about.
Yes, let's see how it goes. Ting.
Come on. You didn't dink it.
Boy, that sure was picked up 2.5 hours ago at the drive-thru. Oh. That took a couple seconds to set in, but now my whole tongue is tingly. It's not bad. I don't think it's going to make me, yeah. That is going to be mildly uncomfortable for a little bit. What's your verdict?
I'm not getting anything. Like, I just taste a nugget. Like, no, excuse me. There was definitely an intention of spiciness, but I believe I have eaten too much of this and these and these and this stuff where I don't think. Oh no, there's some after notes.
Yeah, it takes a little
minute
bit.
after.
It's,
Okay.
it's a tingle. It's not like the McDonald's spicy crispy chicken sandwiches are spicier than this. And they don't purport to be ghost nugget, ghost pepper, anything.
What's going on, Thorntman? The sauce boss rules all. Just because you tuned in, everybody, I'll eat an ass-kicking jelly bean with habanero pepper.
Sure. Take one of these. Just one. No. Okay, I got one.
That's the habanero pepper kick I like.
That is a different kind of spicy. Like, oh yeah, that's a more in the nose kind of spicy. It's interesting. The nugget spicy is a mostly around the tongue, whereas the bean is almost everywhere else. And it feels like it's weird. If you consider spicy to be your taste organs being stabbed by a bunch of little needles, the nuggets are bigger needles poking a little harder, whereas that is a lot more tiny needles, which is a really weird metaphor to use, but it's the best I can think of. So
it works. Weirdest ASMR
closely
ever.
mic'd chewing noises.
Dave has wrecked his mouth totally voluntarily and repeatedly. Yep, for the children of St. Jude's.
Sure, we'll go with one dipping in the ranch, although I don't see, tastes different. That was weird. That set my tinnitus off.
The chewing?
I don't know. Just something happened and it flared up for a second. Oh, that's an interesting kind of spicy. It changes my auditory perception.
Those are not bad.
Yeah, no, they taste. I can imagine that fresh from the drive-thru, they would be quite good. Not the
More like rigor mortis.
wrecked his mouth totally voluntarily and repeatedly. Wink.
Wait, should we throw it to Steve?
Don't throw it to Steve.
We should. We're supposed to do something sporting tonight, and so we have to do something.
Be right by the camera. We're gonna try to land it in your mouth. Catch it.
Yeah.
Catch it in your
Yeah,
mouth.
he caught it. All right.
Okay. Let's. Yeah, I would say that probably the bean had a more lasting impact, but I can still feel the nugget. So yeah, not bad. Again, like I said, something with a spicy sauce. Again, that would be the McDonald's spicy chicken. Is hotter. I would say that's about on par with Wendy's spicy chicken.
Yeah.
As far as heat goes, maybe Wendy's is a little bit hotter.
Steve, thumbs up or down? What's the verdict? Oh,
9 out of 10
a
nug.
9 out of 10 nug.
Now, keep in mind that that's not necessarily 9 out of 10 spiciness, but yeah, it's a nug. I think I would agree. That's a 9 out of 10 nug.
It does quite well to both nug and be more.
Okay, let's get into things, and we've still got a few that maybe we'll hit throughout the show. But let's start with a Twitch ban, or let's continue with a Twitch ban. Actually, hold on. Let me burp first.
Oh, that would have been
mostly
beautiful.
water. That would have been disgusting.
That would have been beautiful audio. We should have clipped that.
No, it's because I muted the mic.
And then used it as a sound clip for future things.
Terrible. Banned on Twitch yesterday is Dench, or Denxh, pronounced Dench, which he got very up in arms about on Twitter when nobody reporting on this was pronouncing it correctly. It's not exactly intuitive pronunciation, but whatever. Dench. Yesterday, during a $50,000 Warzone tournament, he won a Gulag event versus Super Evan, and in the excitement, shot the body, which in Warzone is considered bad sportsmanship. It's
it's showing a little bit extra when you're shooting
shooting someone who's
someone's
already down.
prone body.
For his part, Super Evan was like, "Why'd you shoot me, dude?" And more or less left it at that. His viewers, meanwhile, because naturally both of them were streaming, his viewers all went to Dench's stream and started spewing hateful content, typing hateful stuff into chat, and one of Dench's teammate, Jay, read some of that out loud, including a homophobic slur, which ultimately, violating Twitch's terms of service, got him banned.
During the tournament.
Yep.
Like immediately.
Yeah. Because, of course, as soon as he said it, all of the viewers were like, report. Very bad faith kind of stuff. But still, don't say a homophobic slur on stream no matter how it comes in front of you. That said, a day later, that is today, he was unblocked from Twitch. Quote, "Your account was recently suspended or blocked for an incorrect reason due to a mistake on our part." Which seems like really weird backpedaling and perhaps a bad precedent. Like, yeah, that was a terms of service violation. And you don't give a reason most of the time, so it's not like the reason was incorrect. It's, say, all right, it was a one-day ban, you learned your lesson, come back. Because they're pretty capricious with how long bans last. That they're like, oops, our bad, seems a little weird. Super Evan did say, hey, come on, guys, to his viewers. Like, what are you doing? Nobody likes that. So, pretty classy on his part. So, yeah, that is the story of how Dench was banned, not for shooting a guy, but a domino effect afterward from Twitch, and then came back the day later.
Man, like, if you're going to be playing for $50,000 in a Call of Duty game, you got to know where the lines are. And then at the same point, once again, people grow up.
Yeah.
Grow up.
You know what you can and cannot say on stream.
Exactly.
And people who don't are refusing to grow up and just trying to be edgy, and they deserve it when they get smacked for it. Also, again, I kind of feel bad for Dench because it was his teammate that said a thing, but of course he's on voice chat with him. So he couldn't be, dude, what are you doing? Stop!
Yeah, that goes along with like the story in the past where the guys were selling accounts and doing things and got their whole team kicked.
Yeah.
Listen, who you broadcast with and who you're on a platform and stage with, you get just as much of the blame as other people for their actions.
Anticlaus saying Twitch getting to the unreliable, capricious ways of YouTube. YouTube makes odd decisions, but I wouldn't say they're capricious. They're just coming from a weird place. And I've been burned by stupid YouTube decisions before, but it's just felt misinformed, not necessarily capricious in the same way that Twitch bans are often just, whatever I'm feeling on this Tuesday.
YouTube don't know their own rules, says Anti.
Anyway, that's what I got for Twitch ban over the last 7 days. Dave, what do we have coming out in the next 7 days going forward?
So
taking one more nug.
I have got some games that I'm very excited about and some that I looked into. You might remember we talked about this, both of these actually, during the seasons where everyone's showing trailers and things like that.
Yep.
And I believe we have the trailer for on Thursday, October 28th, Riders Republic. It is going to be out for the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, the Luna, the Stadia, the Xbox One, the Series X and S, and the Microsoft Wii.
Amazon Luna.
Amazon Luna is a cloud gaming platform developed and operated by Amazon.
Shows how much. Okay, whatever.
I saw it and I just thought, no, we make fun of Stadia enough.
Get ready for radness.
At the same time, bad Amazon.
So what you're seeing is actually 4K gameplay of the game itself. People riding bikes in a race. If you're playing on the next-gen consoles and on PC, you can have up to 50 players at the same time, all playing in these races and different events.
Okay.
Using bikes, skis, snow boards, wingsuits and rocket
Well, it's
wingsuits.
kind of like what was the game that you played on stream a couple of years ago? Steep, yeah. So I've seen a lot of comparisons to that, whereas this just like kind of takes that formula and keeps going with it, which
Yes.
is nice. It's not the same developer, right?
No, it's a different developer, and what they did was they took the what Steep was, and they just made it that much bigger.
Yeah, which is cool because you see a success in something that could conceivably be something of a genre. I did not end up going with the one that you would grab, because I didn't realize that I didn't go with it was like a half-hour video. I would have had to download, so I apologize. I
Oh,
can
no
see
worries.
about resetting that. This was I think the launch trailer.
Perfect. No, good. So you're getting to see the different equipment in things. You're getting to see people eat
And
shit.
wiping out,
Um,
which is in a game like this. That needs to be satisfying too.
Yes. Oh no. You need to be able to get big air, and you also need to be able to eat shit in a big
You
way.
need to
Like
get big air and eat big dirt on the way down.
Like, what's going on, Mr. Wet? Is this a conspiracy by Big Helmet? I actually am really glad that extreme sports representations in video games are showing a more
The
realistic
basic, yeah.
side, in so much as, you know, people that are doing these downhill events, they are wearing long sleeves, they are wearing long pants, they are wearing BMX helmets, and
I mean,
you know,
it's very fantastical in general, but they're able to do that while still maintaining a grounding
yes.
in, yeah, like you said, the proper protective wear. Like, don't do this at home. What you're seeing right now, don't try this at home. Unless you are a trained professional who knows what you're doing. And chances are, if you're watching this, you're not and you don't. No shade intended. But, you know, do follow the example of wearing proper protective equipment. So that's nice. That's cool.
I'm looking forward to this one just because inevitably when it goes on sale, this will be one of the games that I do get, because I find stuff like this fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a great time with Steve, and it's really cool seeing this.
And the thing I like about it is it's both open world, but it does have the competitive elements, but you don't have to do the competitive elements. You can do time trials against yourself. You can just explore and get lost in the mountains and try to do the wingsuits and things like that. Like Dudikers points out correctly, this is why everyone loves Skate Series so much, because man, could you eat it hardcore if you were doing tricks.
Yep.
But yeah, so check it out Thursday. It's going to be a fun release. It's going to have a good community behind it, because this group, the last game that they really got was the Tony Hawk's remaster for 1 and 2. And then since then,
okay, you mean as far as like the genre of the extreme sports game, kind of?
yes,
Okay.
in a large way.
Yeah.
It also
Broad
looks
strokes.
beautiful. So it's more like rigor mortis. It really
Yeah.
does. They put a lot of effort into the styles.
When you see games like this, like Project Cars, that really emphasize
Yeah.
the style a lot. Yeah.
And as you see in the trailer here, you can customize what your character's wearing, how they behave, you know, all these other things, and you can make different aspects of the land, different colors. You can change the trials, this and that and the other. It does not have a full dedicated park builder part, but with a great land, Mr. Wet looks like fun. Reminds me of Amped a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. It's doing a good job of calling back to a lot of games that came before it. And I guess to pull out the metaphor, all we have to see is how it sticks the landing. Because, man, if it biffs, that's still going to be fun to watch.
This might be a game that I beg Dan to buy me.
Welcome to Riders Republic.
All right,
Adrenaline
what else?
Junkies. There are no rules.
And as you can see from the this one, it was originally slated for February, but got delayed.
Yeah, this was the launch one, so it was pushed back. So,
Sorry, just 1 second. That visual you're seeing with the guy with the smoke coming out of the helmet, so cool.
yeah, like it's got good style. So, all right, what else have we got coming out? I know you had at least one more.
So you can spring, you can jump, but your Joy-Cons won't survive. The next Mario Party Superstars.
I've heard a lot about this already.
This one is a remastering of N64 era maps and play maps and things like that. There's some original ones on it, but it is a collection of the 100 most popular minigames around. And Boulder, which was the one that recently made a splash that people realized?
Well, first I'm looking at it. You say minigames, but it also looks like it is a full Mario Party kind of thing.
Well, yes, it is Mario Party Superstar. So it's not just where they
at
had.
First I thought it was like just minigames.
No.
Okay.
No, it's a full game, full Mario Party title.
So you can be fully in the board, well ahead, and then up comes Tug of War, and you say, oh no. For those of you not familiar, the original Tug of War game on the N64, as you were on either side pulling, the action that you had to do was to spin the analog stick really fast. And that's what people did. They realized you could get a lot faster when you torque your hands against each other rather than just trying to move your thumb in a circle. And of course that hard plastic would eat into your palm. This was the day before software patches. So Nintendo was like, we'll send out a glove to anyone that has a proof of purchase, and we can send out a glove to wear on your hand instead. And right now they're like, just use your thumb on the Joy-Con, please.
The problem is, what does that wind up looking like when you're playing in real life?
Well, first with an N64 controller, first off, it meant that your analog sticks would permanently just be like dead and limp. And now with a little Joy-Con controller, it's like, oh yeah, I'll just use my thumb. Everyone's using their thumbs, right? Gentlemen agreement? You're not gonna be able to see what I'm doing under here. This doesn't look bad at all.
And there's our clip for the week.
I said I wasn't going to do it, but you forced me. Mario, and of course I mentioned how it broke Mario, like N64 controllers. This is going to break Joy-Cons. Joy-Con analog sticks have a lot of problems, and this is not going to help.
I'm looking forward to this. The only way to play this is with the Nintendo Switch Online N64 controller, says Dude
I'm
Icarus.
sorry, that's not supported. Can you imagine?
I can imagine, because, you know what? Side story. Have you seen the reviews since the launch of Nintendo 64 Online?
Yeah, it's not gone well.
There's input lag on the N64 games! How, Nintendo, do you biff it that bad?
Because Nintendo is bad at the internet.
Thank you, Mr. Wet, by the way.
And anything that has anything to do with internet, they're going to screw up.
But yeah, this game is coming out this Friday. Once again, this is, for me, on the ranking scale of gotta have. And I would love to stream this game with and against friends.
Yeah.
I didn't get much information on whether or not everyone has to have a copy of it to play it, or whether it's available for
I'm not sure.
Insane Games with
Party boards and mini games. Mario Party Superstars. Hit the dice block and move from space to space. Whoever collects the most stars by the end wins.
All right.
Compete in mini games.
Just always, if I can make a sale during a program, I'm going to make a sale.
Redeem for stars.
But when you open until
From the Nintendo 64
here's how
Mario
you do
Party
it,
games make their return.
Mr. Wet saying, I love this format for the show. The gameplay trailers are a moist touch. I love it. Thank you again, Tom, for always getting us something that looks great, for being able to show stuff off like this. And then Joy-Cons break as easily as friendships. I assume that's the instance of friendships that you meant for Joy-Cons to go into, because the initial message sent was friendships break as easily as friendships, which is not wrong. It is technically true. Okay, so
Because who hasn't had a 50-turn Mario Party game where by the end of it you just wish you had a Monopoly board you could flip? Like,
I want to be able to set longer game lengths on the latest Mario Party. I think 15 is the longest it can go. I'm like, oh, I want something that'll last an hour and a half.
You can enjoy these boards with
Everyone does
online
need a
play.
copy, however, it's very
Compete
easily
against
to
your
mod
friends
different
or
stickers in
battle
it.
out with
Interesting.
players worldwide via random matchmaking.
Don't entirely know what that means,
You
but
can
cool. Thank you for
also
the
use
research.
stickers to communicate with
Thanks,
others.
Steve.
And if you're playing with
All
friends,
right.
you can save
Anything
your
else coming out
progress
the next 7
mid-game
days, or is
and
that?
resume
Of course,
at
there
any
is a
time.
litany of other
yeah.
titles and things like that, but these are the two that really stuck out and really showed. And by the way, November is going to be a busy month for that, so save your wallets.
Yeah. We're looking ahead, and we're gonna have to move pretty quickly when we're talking about stuff coming out. So, yeah. Cool. Dave, what have you been playing recently? What's anything worth noting in your disc tray?
So I have the Playmaker Pokemon League. I am the Rock Gym trainer, and I just got my 9 Pokemon up and ready, and I'm very excited for that. And I'm going to kick Steve's ass. It's going to be great. I say that because I am the proverbial. What I have deigned myself is the Streak Breaker.
Oh.
And it's that if you have a losing streak, I'm gonna break it by losing to you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the Streak Breaker.
Listen, when you have a niche, just go for it.
Exactly. So I've greatly enjoyed filling CJ Playmaker's league. I'm a fighting type leader, though. Exactly. I'm gonna fight you with rocks. But I'm looking forward to that. That's been in my Switch a lot recently. Back for Blood has been pretty prevalent. I've been doing a lot of things with that. But how about you? What has been in your disc tray?
Still got some Timberborn going on, starting to get past the addiction there. Also being gone this weekend meant I wasn't able to play it at all, and I'm behind on YouTube editing. But coming up on the Citadel is something I'm excited for. But I gotta go way over here to grab the box. So let's talk
Da 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 da.
Hot Wheels.
Sorry.
I got Hot Wheels Unleashed for Xbox One, so we're going to be playing that on the Citadel tonight. I don't know if it's going to be a one-off or something that we do for a few weeks, but I am really looking forward to this. I didn't get it on release because I wanted to get the Challenge Accepted Edition with a ton of DLC and a die-cast Bone Shaker in it.
You mean this Challenge Accepted edition that Steve and I got a while ago?
I basically do, yes. It has a different colored strip at the top, but otherwise identical. So that's what's coming up later on the Citadel. Yeah, and that's what I've been playing and looking forward to playing shortly. Dave, shall we get into some news? You still have Nugget left.
Boulder,
Dave,
$57,789. Is that a lot or a little?
you're gonna need some context there. If someone gave that to me now, I'd consider it a lot. If
What
someone
would
took it
you-
out of Bobby Kotick's pocket, I would consider it a little.
I'm gonna take those cars out and crash them into each other. Fair.
As long as you don't mix them up. This one's mine. That one's his.
Dave's is the one that's missing the 2 front tires. Botus is making the back axle. So chat, let me ask. You wouldn't dare. Chat, let me ask you guys. $57,789. What would you spend that on? If you were given it.
Because I was reading about some Corvette stuff, I would say most of a Corvette C8.
Fair.
I don't know. I do something terribly responsible with it, like pay off the solar panel loan on my house because I'm a boring ass. Also, actually, I would pay some people to help me get an Xbox Series X. But there'd still be a lot left over after that, so I don't know. What would you spend with it, Dave?
A great many things. I'd probably pay off a lot of bills. I'd probably redo my computer, which we'll be talking about
we're over 30.
later. But you know what I wouldn't do?
What would
is spend $57,789 on a Pokemon card.
Okay, I thought you were going to say crypto.
Especially when that money is part of an $85,000 federal coronavirus relief loan.
This.
Because a gentleman named, and I'm going to mispronounce his name because fuck you, dude, Veneth Audemson spent misfiled with the Federal Coronavirus Relief Act and got an $85,000 small business loan for his small business, lied about how many employees he had, what his overhead was, and all the pay and things like that. And then among many other things that he used for that recent loan, $57,789 went to a Pokemon card. A singular Pokemon card.
Dear God. Oh.
Unfortunately, the investigation did not tell us which card it is, and his legal representation declined to comment as to whether or not it was a first edition Charizard or not.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I am going to create a Nerd Glasses email and start emailing things like this when we hear about these stories and be like, hello, the Nerd Glasses would love to know. Was it Charizard, Mr. Wet? Exactly. I want to know too. Like, was it one of those promotional Mew cards from the Pokemon movie in 2000?
Holofoil Fat Pikachu? Tell me.
Was it something lame like an autographed card? But
autograph cards don't go for money. You should know this.
That's what jumped out at me at first. And what a bastard! Like,
and I think we've covered this before. If not, I at least read stuff about it where it's considered that an autographed card is worth less.
Yes, because they're less playable.
Yeah. Oh boy. I don't think I have anything to follow that up, so let's...
Well, Boater, not being able to follow up, unfortunately, Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot for the Nintendo Switch. I was told that December 3rd I'd be able to go to my wife and go, Claire, I know what I want for Christmas. I want Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot for the Switch. Unfortunately, they just announced that they still have a little bit more work until it's ready for the front, so they are delaying it until spring 2022.
Okay.
And boy howdy is the 10-year-old in me pissed off, because I loved Advanced Wars and Advanced Wars 2. That game was amazing, and I'm going to stream the hell out of it, and people are going to come here to the studio on the weekend Wednesday, and we're going to have wars. And not just any kind of wars, really obscure wars. Nice. On a tangential note, our Insane Games TV's official dog does not like it when Steve and I use the Vince McMahon voice to him. It's not, excuse me, it's not that he doesn't like it, it's just that he has no idea how to respond, so he gives kind of like the... When Steve and I both tried last week going, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You're a good boy! Like, and Ash is just kind of like, burr? Ooh?
It's so adorable when dogs do the head tilt. So, of course, you led into that with, December, being able to go and say, I know what I want for Christmas. Well, first off, do your shopping earlier than December this year because supply chains, or buy local, find a local craftsperson that does arts and crafts, whatever, support local. And do your shopping that way rather than big global supply chains, because those are booked. But also, you know what else you're not going to be able to get for Christmas this December? Or at least it's going to be very hard. That is going to be Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, graphics cards, etc. On a related note, you know what's going to be hard to get for Christmas 2022? The same. The Intel CEO saying that CPU and GPU shortages may last until 2023. Xbox a couple weeks ago had said that probably late 2022 is when we can expect everything to ease up.
Yes.
But the longer that there's this supply imbalance, the longer it will take for things to rebalance. And so Intel is saying that's not happening for a year and a half or so. Man, if you want to get the latest piece of tech, you are really going to have to put a lot of work into it, a lot of legwork, and probably more money than you should. It's gonna be that way for a while. I'm still stuck on a GeForce 1060 graphics card. Sigh.
I know that feel, Boater, because my computer recently decided that it was going to do this fun thing where it was going to be on and then suddenly off and then unpromptedly on again
That sounds super fun.
and provide no error message.
My original Xbox did that. It turned out that there was a corroded lead on the motherboard with the power button. The power button wouldn't turn it on anymore. The eject button would turn it on, and it would turn itself off after a certain amount of time when heat built up. That's how I got the PC building bug, is when I replaced the motherboard and hard drive in my original Xbox on my own.
I wish it wasn't my only PC that I've ever owned doing this as well, because intermittently also USBs will just quit on me.
Yeah.
Including that nifty nice new keyboard you and Steph got for me. It'll just randomly shut off, which I'm uber excited about. So Saturday, myself and Love Alec, Sustaina, and Amp Slayer, brain trusted, opened up the PC away from Savannah because my cat do so love small spaces like an open
It's
PC.
a box. I'ma sit in.
So we cleaned it out, and thus far, it's doing just fine.
Okay, good.
And
Because-
we're hoping
Go ahead.
it's the power supply.
If for some reason it wasn't just fine, I have an exciting new product for you. NZXT is putting out brand new kits, build kits or BLD kits, which is just a bundle of PC parts with easy to follow IKEA style instructions of here's how to assemble a gaming
Cool.
PC. I love that. Like, again, I got into building a PC because I followed step-by-step instructions on replacing a motherboard in an original Xbox. That's a weird way into it, but it kind of gave me everything's just kind of Lego pieces and they fit when you get the right pieces.
Yeah.
And so far, the first time that I actually built a PC, it took a lot of research and making sure that everything was going to fit. Like, look at this. It's compatible with 1, 2, and 3. Check 1. It's compatible with this, 2, and 3. Check 2. 1, this, and 3. And doing a lot of legwork. It's gotten easier. PCPartPicker.com is a thing, but it's still, like, you're still doing a lot of legwork yourself. NZXT is like, we're going to prepackage it. These are all the components. You can pick, I think, one of 2 levels of build right now. Pick a couple different cases because they do. They're really well known for like cases and cooling. You can get it with liquid cooling or air cooling. There's a lot of options that you can pick, and then they send you the kit for you to assemble on your own with like a big kind of fold out. Here's what to do with the step based on your kit.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's cool as hell, and I hope that if I come into some money, I'm able to potentially upgrade my 10-year-old CPU and my 10-year-old motherboard with that, because if those go, I'm not finding replacements for those.
Yeah,
Like-
it's gonna be difficult. And that's the thing that stinks too, is that like if I want to upgrade my video card, the best thing that I could do, and probably the easiest thing I can do, and maybe the second most economical thing I could do, is to just buy a whole new computer built by NZXT or Acer or something like that. Pull the graphics card from that, put it into my rig. Everything else is fine. Put the old graphics card into the old rig and sell that, or part it out. I don't know. That's the easiest way to get a graphics card, because vendors like this get first dibs on stock, and then it goes to retail, where then scalpers get first dibs. Yep. So yeah, really cool that they're doing that. And your computer, I know that you had some work in putting it together, but I know the parts of it were also like hand-me-down kind of thing. So
Yes.
if it came to it, this would be a cool thing for you to just like to really help make it your own. So
Do you have an idea of the price points or range?
I think the price points are similar to as if you got as if you just bought a pre-built PC from them. We're
Okay,
looking at,
so a
like,
couple grand,
yeah,
for the higher end models.
Yeah,
like-
up to a couple grand, starting maybe like 11, 12 grand. Which, considering when I look at graphics card prices, there's like, here's a 500, here's a 700, and the rest are 1300 and go up. So not
Yeah.
the worst. I'm sorry, I don't have firm numbers for you.
No,
there,
no
but yeah,
worries.
again, that's NZXT with the build kits or BLD. And hopefully that's something that more people do. No, number one, if they sell it for the same price, all they got to do for the difference is just here's a sheet and put it in a box rather than go through the effort of actually putting it together. So they get a little more profit margin too, perhaps. Save $50 doing it that way. I don't know. Anyway, that's that.
Speaking of save $50 and profit margins being thin, our friends at D-Brand are back.
Oh boy.
If
oh God.
If you remember, we talked about them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They, last week and in previous episodes, we've discussed the fact that they literally challenged Sony to take down their product because they were making faceplates for the PlayStation 5.
Yep.
A market that Sony does not do.
Yep.
They have the faceplates that come with the system. You can't buy new ones.
They're pre-installed. They're not meant to be swapped out, but they're so easily removable that, yeah, they're meant to be swapped out.
So they had originally done what they call dark plates.
Yep.
And now...
And that's what Sony, as we mentioned last week, sent the cease and desist, and they acted like complete douche nozzles about it.
They have now created Dark Plates 2.0.
Which went up 2 days later. They clearly had it ready, and we're all just feeding into marketing hype for them.
And the title of him is Dark Plates 2.0. Checkmate, lawyers.
Stop being such a child! But that's who your target market is. The people that are like pro the little guy, even though it's...
I'm looking... Avoiding lawsuit is specifically one of the points.
They added vents. Not fans, but they added vents, which I don't know if they would help, because if Sony didn't put vents on the side like that, then they determined that it's going to make no difference, or that it's going to harm your system.
It says right on the website that it's improving thermals, looks cool, runs cooler.
Yeah, because I'm going to trust them.
They have a diagram. The red's going in, or the blue's going in, the red's going out.
Dave, if someone presents you with a ping pong ball and 3 cups, you are not going to win at the end of the day.
Why? I have a 1 in 3 chance.
Okay, Dave.
And there's...
they put lighting on it! That's totally different! That's so much better!
If it makes you feel any better, they are a separate product.
Oh, of course they are!
They are custom LED strips that you can purchase to put on them.
Brought my pen back.
Oh, look at this! Make a choice. Disc edition, 3 colorways, limited stock, not illegal. Digital edition, also 3 colorways, also limited stock, also not illegal. D-Brand, I
hope Sony goes to them and still smacks them because of like unauthorized... I don't know. I don't. Like, I want vendors and artists to be able to make third-party accessories for consoles. Like, I want any old person that's good with, tech to be able to make an Xbox Series X controller and sell it. And not have to go through licensing. But at the same time, oh my God, they're being the biggest dickbags about it.
Mr. Wet in chat. So when are you getting one for your PS5, Dave? I don't think I'm cool enough to have one of those.
But you'll be cooler because of the vents.
That's true.
Supposedly.
That's true. It would be cooler because of the vents. But yeah, I don't think I'm cool enough for that product. And as Mike saw 2 weeks ago when I brought my PS5 in, one of the plates popped off, and I had just une small mental panic about the fact that I had broken my PS5. But then all of us realized, like, wait a minute, this is just clip it back in. But I did have a good, 4 seconds worth of I'll never financially recover from this.
Boy. Okay, here's the big one that I wanted to bring up. So this past week, Valkyrae, streamer Valkyrae, announced a new skincare line called Reflect, or because who needs vowels, RFLCT, Reflect for ease of conversation, which claims to protect skin from the negative effects of blue light from screens.
What? Sorry. What?
So there is scientifically proven that blue light coming from screens, from phones, from monitors, whatever, can impact the human body when it's seen through the eyes, which is why gamer glasses are a thing, which is why night mode on your phone is a thing to reduce
Yes.
blue light, to help you get to sleep better, because blue light signifies daytime to the primitive monkey brain. But sure enough, there is very, very little science, published science, that points to it doing anything to skin. So there's been a lot of pushback over the pseudoscience behind this. Yeah, I didn't start having anything happen to my skin until I had an outside job away from screens. So, medical experts interviewed by the New York Times are split on if blue light does anything to for skin. I would and most people are like, how did you find people that are split on that? Um, Most agree that the touted antioxidants in the skincare would do nothing against blue light. Again, if protection's even needed. Meanwhile, Dave, what is the most common source of blue wavelength light that we as human beings are exposed to?
Our phone, right?
No.
Oh, the sun.
Yes.
I'm trying to think like technology, and I was like, wait a minute, there's a derp answer for this.
She's cornered the market on indoor sunscreen. Wait for it. I'll have the long paragraph about Sony without Sony being mentioned. So here's the thing, is that Reflect has no SPF protection at all. So the whole thing about short wavelength light that might do bad things for your skin, which we know of as being more ultraviolet than visible blue light, but okay, go off, Queen. Would SPF to protect you against that. Sun protection factor. And none of it's in Reflect. And so people are outright up and being like, this is like, why is this like a thing? And just very kind of against her, like, why are you pushing pseudoscience? Why are you doing this? And she responded, I understand completely where you're all coming from. I was also very upset and confused when I saw the website and there were no links to the studies or credits to the labs or the people that worked behind the scenes to make Reflect happen. And I'm like, wait a minute, aren't you like the person doing this? What do you mean you were surprised that there's nothing on the website? I looked into it a bit further, and people like a year and a half ago, she had a stream where she responded to a lot of the stuff going on.
Mhm.
And she said that she was approached by people in the pharmaceutical industry a year and a half ago about, hey, do you want to be, the face for this thing that we're making? And they were able to show her studies that they were performing. They were able to show her the science, but because that science has not been published yet, it cannot be shared yet, so it cannot be posted online. So she has seen this stuff but cannot share it, and it cannot be shared with the world. That shows that this stuff apparently works.
You know what? You know what other science hasn't been published and can't be proven yet? That I deserve $1 million every time I fart. I'm trying really hard to get it published.
Yeah, I
but
noticed.
they just won't buy it. They just won't.
Anyway, she says, this whole time I was... okay, fart jokes. This whole time I was under the impression that all this research I saw was going to be on the website. When Reflect dropped, it was crucial for there to be research, but all there was a WebMD link. I was confused. I learned their studies can't be publicized. They can't show it because specific research can be stolen by other companies. The individual research being researched with how it works with blue light, I saw that. And it just seems very like either she's being led by the nose by people that know better, or she's in on it. And I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, like, if your face is going to be all over this, you need to, like, oh, I was surprised when the website went live with this. Well, you should have seen what the website would look like, of all things. before it went live, because she's almost a client. It's
So she got like a brand deal. It
Yeah,
sounds like.
basically, yeah. It's because she's not doing any of the development on it. She doesn't have pharmaceutical, experience of
Yeah.
science behind that. She offered a lot of feedback. She was talking about how like it was originally very like women gamer centric and all that, and she was like, can we make this lip gloss more matte so that it's got cross gender appeal? She was talking about different things that she did from like the marketing standpoint that helped, and her feedback there. But when it comes to the actual science, you know they were coming to her for her to be the face of their new brand. um, and she admits in here, that was the part I was very naive about. I didn't know that when it comes to studies not being able to be publicized. And so, like, she's kind of dealing with this number one, like, backlash against this with her face all over it. And also, just this is the way it's working. I've been to some extent, I've been had. But also, she says, like, this stuff works, but we can't show you the science yet, which just feels very snake oil-y.
It does feel snake oily, Boater, because I have stood in front of televisions, computers, phones, streaming, monitors, all these other things, and you know what I've gotten? Pasty. Pasty as hell.
Yeah, if there's any damage to your skin being done by being in front of screens all day rather than the sun, it's that there is no damage being done, so you were less prepared when you go outside. When I started working an outdoor job last year, I got lobster red. And now, like, as spring eases in, I have a tan that I wouldn't have had if I was just in front of screens. None of this is coming from screens. This skincare, like, there might be some good things that this skincare product will do. Good, at least along the same lines as like anti-aging creams and everything like that. Moisturizer, certainly fine, but the core pitch that it's going to protect your skin from blue light is, in the opinion of the consensus of currently published science and the opinion of most dermatologists interviewed about it, bullshit.
Sounds dumb, and it sounds like they were trying to get one over on the public by putting
A trusted and loved face on it.
trusted and loved face on it, and
And
then selling.
ended up getting one over on her too, potentially.
There's nothing wrong with just making the same product as everybody else and marketing it differently.
Yep, it could have been just the same, skincare kind of thing that she would use from other things, but putting her name on it. I mean, I'm wearing a T-shirt from Cloak, which is a clothing brand by Markiplier and Jacksepticeye.
Mhm.
It's a T-shirt. I paid more for it than I should have because it's, like American made and, small, limited drop kind of thing, whatever. But they made it from their end and sourced everything on their end, the materials they're going to get, whatever. They went through the full thing. And in the end of the day, it's a shirt. And they did it with their spin on it. It's a shirt. It's not claiming to be anything other than a shirt.
You know where you can get a shirt, by the way, and look snazzy as hell, is in the link down below to the Insane Games TV shop. There's shirts, there's sweatshirts, there's It's Tank Season Tank, because it's coming up, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the beginning end of winter, but it'll end, and it'll be spring, and so many other things. Make sure to check out the store down below.
There might be hoodies we'll have to check, and also...
There's definitely an Insane Games TV hoodie.
Good. Get that. And I'm currently trying to get a new T-shirt design for the Citadel based on a quote from last week's stream. So that is still coming as well. So make sure that you're checking that store often. So that's that. Speaking of, I don't have a segue. Hold on, I do.
I was gonna say, could you not just rent one? Is that the issue, or like,
Dave? We need to do a show where we just rent a couple of segways and go around the pickleball court trying to keep our balance, or a couple of hoverboards actually.
You know what we should do a program. We should call it the West Wing episode, and it's just us walking.
Yeah.
With the camera in front
streamed
of
from a
us.
camera, we do like a walk and talk, but it's on segways or something.
Yes, like absolutely. Segway race. Yes, I'll get so
Outside
hurt.
here. That might be something that we'd have to do pre-recorded. I don't know how well we could stream a race around the mall, because that's what we're talking about, right? Is a race around the entire mall.
Entire mall. Steve
You need
loves
to
it.
think bigger.
Great. Welcome. I'm new on keyboard and mouse, and thank you for the follow, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
It was great seeing you in the store earlier, and definitely make sure to check in on Insane Games TV on all the programming we have. Hit that follow button. Make sure to ring that bell, ladies and gentlemen watching out there.
If they can't get their stuff published, then there's something wrong. Probably correct.
Or
Like,
they're just not willing to
sometimes,
pay.
Like, it's still in peer review, but then it just quietly doesn't get published because peer review doesn't show the same results. Because, I've seen the results. Yes, all done by the place that wants to sell the stuff. Peer review is a thing in science, and we'll see.
If you have enough money,
Not that it's hard to get a scientific paper published.
It's not. It's not. If you have
absurdly
money,
easy.
if you got money, you can get us a paper published.
There's a lot of really good like false scientific papers out there from people that are just like taking the piss, being like, "Oh, someone published this one stupid thing. Well, I'm gonna publish this medical article about cello scrotum is a really fun one. I learned that on
Gesundheit?
yeah, cello scrotum. It's it's the rash that a man gets from playing cello too much, even though the cello is nowhere near, and it's just a totally made up thing that he published a medical paper on. There's a citation needed episode about it. They're really funny, and you kind of learn about it, but it's also just look up the Wikipedia article. Fake scientific papers, Dave.
So, Boater,
Who will be the Paulius Blart?
I've got 3 more topics for you today.
Okay.
For the ones we don't get to, I'll be actually one of them I will save for next week.
Okay.
Because this one is going to require some yelling, and people are going to get upset.
I've got a couple of Blizzard ones, but I'm fine tabling those to Discord. So.
If we don't get to a story, by the way, we do have on the Discord down below a header called Tabled Topics, where Boater and I will put topics that we have fleshed out and would love for you guys to hear, and things like that right on there. And so, do you want to hear about a patent? Do you want to hear from Conspiracy Baseball? Actually, so I'll table the third topic for next week.
Wasn't there one where you were trying to make me guess something?
Yes, but I don't know that 5 minutes will do that one justice, because
I wanted to keep guessing, but okay.
It was a big story. We can start with that one next week.
Okay.
But next week we're going to be talking about Wu-Tang's Once Upon a Time in
right.
Shaolin. Don't look up about the articles. I promise it'll be worth if you stick here with Nerd Glasses and chat to us about then. But Pharma Bro had 1 copy of a Wu-Tang album and an adventure it has gone on.
The only copy of the album. That was a couple years ago, so
Yes.
There's updates apparently. I cannot wait. Meanwhile, I'm tabling something about BlizzCon as well as about Overwatch. So.
Do you want to get into those ones?
No, that's I'm fine. Oh, I mean, unless you want to discuss this for a minute or so.
Sure.
McCree in Overwatch finally got his rename because he was named after someone who was kicked from Blizzard.
You mean the cowboy?
Yes, the cowboy formerly known as McCree. Was originally named after a developer that was later found to Activision Blizzard. And so they finally renamed the cowboy to Cole Cassidy, which I like. I think that's a good thematic name. I don't play Overwatch, though. Dave, what are your thoughts?
He's a character in a video game. Thankfully, he is a character who is a drifter, and so what's in a name? Nothing, which is why on the broadcast, immediately they were just calling him the cowboy.
Yep.
Upon revelations about Jesse McCree's misgivings as an employee of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, sportscasters were just saying the cowboy for the character. Yep.
Which was really cool that he was back in the meta, by the way, to have him. But yikes. named after Butch Cassidy, who was also a literal criminal. Yes, but Butch Cassidy is a literal criminal in the sense of, at this point, Butch Cassidy isn't the person. It's Butch Cassidy, the criminal from the Wild West that we all picture with big old mustaches.
Yeah, more of
and-
like a concept at this later date than a person. And I don't think that there's a too soon element to this.
Plotline, I kind of like it because the last time we saw the cowboy, he was talking about how he really wasn't the person that people thought he was, and how these things and changes in his life were going to happen,
That's
and
convenient.
how he wasn't really fitting into all this stuff. And this was before any of this happened.
Yeah, so that's convenient that was there.
He gave away his Overwatch like basically communicator to another character and said, I have to go make my own way. And so the fact that he would reappear as Cole Cassidy is storyline makes sense in meta. In the idea that the character is going to reappear.
It's the kind of thing that 10 years from now, someone reading up on the lore of Overwatch wouldn't bat an eyelid to.
Yep.
Shifting identity and everything like that.
Yeah. This isn't the first time that the character, Jesse McCree, is renaming himself. It's Dude says too convenient. I can see that, where it is too convenient that Overwatch is able to paint over this with a brush.
It's not necessarily. I mean, like it's something that they can do. And I like that setup happened to be there. But if not, they would have been able to do something. Like people that do lore are able to find these hooks that they can do things with.
Do you want a tinfoil hat for just a minute of alternatives they could have done?
You go ahead and put your tinfoil hat on. While you do, I'll mention that that Activision is going to waive the normal $10 fee for changing your battle tag in Overwatch. Because like as long as you submit a support ticket saying yes, my name was based on the old name, I would like to change it, they will waive your $10 fee for changing your battle tag. All right, Dave.
All right, instead of renaming him Cole Cassidy, they could have killed the character and brought us another one-armed cowboy with a metallic arm. And you know what they could have named him? They could have named him Macaw, and he would have been from Australia. That would have been a good one. They also could have just gotten rid of the character entirely. Nobody plays as him. He's stupid, and anyone who plays as him is stupid too. We also indefinitely, absolutely, and irrefutably could have had McCree Jr., or as we would have called him, Junior, and no one would have ever called him by his parents' name because he's ashamed that his father was Jesse McCree and his mama was Ash. There's some storyline for you. You're welcome, Activision Blizzard. Let's see. What else? I need a place. I need a place from the room. A place. I'm not getting any places. A noun, an adjective. Hungry? All right. McCree, he's on his journey. He's going along. He gets hungry. He eats some really bad exotic meats in the country of Hungary because he was really hungry. And so as it turns out, Amnesia forgets who he is, gets a new name, new identity, not using a 6-shooter anymore, uses just a really crapper Soldier 76 gun. Boom! Demon Dragon. They need to keep up this and rename him every few years. I love the idea.
That would be great. Like that'd be a cool thing to do.
Dude Icarus, Joseph McGriddle. I love it. It's product. It's in it. He would always have a McGriddle in his hand, and instead of it's high noon, he would say it's 10:30 and breakfast service is over. Like.
Last question on this for you, Dave. Without the hat.
All right, one more thing they could have done is just Overwatch is canceled. It's done. Nobody plays it anymore, and that's what everybody says on the internet.
And that's why I wanted hat off, because that is an answer from a Dave that I do not want. 3 years from now,
yes.
What do you think people will call the character? Your average player in a game. Do you think that they will call him Cole Cassidy or Cole or Cass, or do you think they'll call him the Cowboy, or do you think that a lot of people will still call him McCree?
In a couple of years, it'll definitely be whatever term people are using for him in competitive.
Okay.
So, for example, there's a character Brigitte, but everybody calls her Baguette.
Okay.
I have heard her called it from folks who are way better at Overwatch than I ever will be, and video games than I ever will be here on Insane Games TV. Shout out to Button Johnny. So I've heard her called Baguette and things like that. Shortened versions of the names, nicknames for things. But I don't see McCree as long as Overwatch 2 relaunches with Cole Cassidy and no mention of McCree anywhere.
Okay.
I just don't see it.
Cool.
That name sticking around.
Cool.
He got dysentery.
Bye-bye.
Oh, not a tinfoil hat thing, but something I would like to see in Overwatch 2 is maybe a little bit of plotline about Jesse McCree. Because in the comics they talk about the Deadlock Gang and they have a couple other things like that, but maybe a chapter about that. You know?
Yep. Okay. That's all. I mean, I've got one more to throw on table topic if you want to talk about that. But did you have anything else, or are we basically at time?
What's that? Conspiracy baseball?
Uh-oh.
Oh, you have
Conspiracy
a story for
baseball is
Boater.
back.
You have a story for Boater, but you're going to put it on table
Word.
topics.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, table. Thank you very much, Conspiracy Baseball. We
Does
really appreciate
Conspiracy
you.
Baseball have a... That's adorable.
Does Conspiracy Baseball have a Discord account?
Conspiracy Baseball will have a Discord account after I leave here tonight.
Good. Good. That's what I wanted to hear.
Oh God, Steve, you're gonna help me with this.
So that means that we are done for the Nerd Glasses this week, everybody. We talked about a lot. We had a lot of discussion about different things. There's a patent diagram on his phone that we're going to get to either in table topics or next week. There's going to be a lot of stuff. So make sure that you're on our Discord so that you can participate in those table discussions. You can give us topics that we may or may not talk about week to week. But even if we don't get to it, you guys can talk amongst yourselves. We can hang out and talk about them on Discord. We want to use that platform, but to do that, we need you guys to be there. So we want to see you there. Coming up after Nerd Glasses podcast, again, I will be playing Hot Wheels Unleashed. We're going to go offline. Takes us 5 minutes to move the set over there. 10-minute countdown, and I'll see you. Take a good long poop and get some popcorn. We're settling in for some Hot Wheels racing.
Poopcorn!
No. Get yourself a crate of popcorn chicken.
There's an old callback.
There's an old callback. All right, folks. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching the Nerd Glasses. Thank you for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. It's we're on every Tuesday starting at 7 o'clock Eastern and going until, I don't know, 8:11 now because I'm not shutting up. So we'll see you there. Stay tuned for the Citadel and make sure that you're following for all of the wonderful streamers and programs that we have right here at Insane Games TV. In the meantime, I've been Boater.
I'm in Dave, man.
And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.